the winter chill sets in, your skin might be sending out an SOS. But are you listening to the right signal? Many of us confuse dry skin with dehydrated skin. I didn't know there was a difference personally. But knowing the difference could transform your skincare routine. Today we are joined by Karen Bester from Lamelle Research Laboratories, joining us to break it all down from why your favorite rich cream might not be enough to what your skin really needs to bounce back this winter season. Karen, thank you so much for your time and welcome to The Upside.
Thank you, Tibogo. Thank you for having me on your show.
Let's start with the basics. I didn't know there was a difference between dry skin and dehydrated skin. What does that actually mean?
So when a skincare therapist analyzes your skin, they're going to look if it's dry or dehydrated. Now, dry skin means that your skin needs oils or lipids.
Okay.
And dehydrated skin means that it needs a little bit more water. So the ingredient you use will be slightly different. To us as product users, it's not that critical because they are so interrelated. So the thing is, if your skin doesn't have the lipids that it needs, it's definitely going to lose water. So you will have a little bit of both in many cases. And especially in winter, when the humidity in the air goes down, we seep into the environment, and that's what makes our skins dry.
And Karen, are there obvious signs that we can look out for to say, wow, okay, I'm dry or my skin is dehydrated? Are there obvious signs that we can look out for?
I think in most cases for us, how we feel is our skin starts to feel tight. And that generally tells us that we are starting to lose the oils that we need to keep the water in. You will also notice that you have more fine lines, your skin looks dull. If you're younger, your skin will be very dull. And that gives us an indication that you are losing water and that you need a little bit more hydration from a water-based ingredient.
And you mentioned how, the wind and the dry air could cause our skins to dry up. What else could factor in and cause dry skin? Not dehydrated, but dry skin.
Dry skin. Well, if you cleanse your skin or over-cleanse your skin or over-exfoliate your skin, what you're doing is you're literally removing the oils that are in your skin. If you also have very hot baths and very hot showers, and I mean, there's nothing better than going and lying in a hot bath when it's winter, hey?
Yeah.
If you have the facility and you can do that. And so those things are the biggest causes of dry skin. So over-cleansing, over-exfoliating, we're actually literally stripping the skin of those oils that they need to trap the water in the skin properly. So those are, and then of course the hot baths, yeah.
You are disappointing so many people, Karen, when you say the hot baths may not be ideal, especially now in winter.
That's the oil that you wash in the bath. That's what you should do. It's just have a good product to replenish them.
And we'll talk about these products that we need to talk about, that we need to add to replenish. What about age, Karen? Does age play a factor in drying and dehydration of skin?
Definitely. As our skin gets older, of course, we're not making, so our cells aren't as active. They're not making the lipids that you need. We talk about the lipid bilayer structure. So in the top layer of your skin, you have a structure of oils that lie in like plates with water trapped in between them.
Okay.
And your skin makes those layers. Now, of course, as you age, your cells slow down, your cells might be damaged, they might not be working as well as they used to, so they're not making the elements that you need. So typically, in aging, one of the biggest things that we see is dry skin. Also, your skin's not shedding well, so you have a lot of old cells hanging around, and that also can become that also causes dryness. And then in females and also later on with males, as we see hormones deplete, that activity even plummets even more. So definitely in older skin, it's a challenge. And then we have a challenge in skins where there's allergies. Those would also tend to be a little bit more drier. And especially after you've had an allergic reaction, the corneum just doesn't have the capacity to stretch and release So that's the top layer of your skin. Doesn't have this capacity to stretch and release as the bottom layer does. So if you've had a little bit of swelling, a little bit of puffiness, you might be itchy and scratching your skin. There you also have a much higher risk of having dry skin. And that's when it's really important for our patients with eczema and psoriasis. They need to give double care when winter comes around to make sure that they're putting the right products on their skins to replenish those oils.
Well, we're currently in conversation with Karen Bester of Lamelle Research Laboratories, talking to us about the difference between dry and dehydrated skin. And we'll take a quick breather. When we get back, we talk about solutions, because now you are worried listening to this conversation. How do I fix it? We'll find out right after this.
Embrace our young voices this month. Channel Africa, celebrating Youth Month. Africa Update on Channel Africa.
Over 35 organizations are expected to converge at the Union Buildings in Pretoria over illegal immigrants in South Africa. They say South Africa is facing a myriad of challenges and that foreign nationals are worsening the situation. Yes, Khutato, just take us through the main aims of the march, what you're hoping to get from them.
So we are basically saying to the President of the Republic of South Africa, illegal immigration is a pandemic. Implement the laws. It's not that we don't have these laws. How many people are being human trafficked? How many people are being hijacked? Our schools are full. Our hospitals are full. And it's almost as if we're carrying the burdens of the entire Africa at the expense of South Africans. And we are basically saying enough is enough. We want the President of the Republic of South Africa to meet us at the Union Building. We've submitted letters to say that we are coming on this day. We want to meet with him there to give him this mandate, because clearly he has failed citizens. He's failed South Africans by failing to implement the law. That's the most important thing. We are going to give you a mandate. We, the people, shall govern.
Africa Update with Lulu Kabu on Channel Africa every weekday from 12 to 2 p.m. The Upside. On The Upside, your voice matters.
It's 22 minutes after 1 p.m. Central African time. Have you noticed your skin feeling a bit tighter this winter season and wondering what's happening? We are discussing the difference between dry and dehydrated skin. We're currently in conversation with Karen Bester from Lamelle Research Laboratories. And Karen, just a quick question. Wrinkles, what causes that? Is that dry or dehydrated?
No, that's more. So fine lines can be caused by dehydration.
Okay.
So that's where we have water loss. But wrinkles are caused by collagen breakdown. We talk about elastosis, that's poor quality elastin. So it's the structure of the spongy part of your skin that's actually broken down as you age. And then on top of that, you've got movement. So it's like taking a piece of paper and folding it open and closed and open and closed. After a while, there's going to be a permanent line in that piece of paper. And the same thing happens with our skin, is that when we smile, we're folding the skin. When we relax, we stop. And we're doing that for 50 or more odd years. And then it literally makes it's like an injury inside into the second layer of the skin that causes a wrinkle. So they're different treatments.
Well, I guess
different conversation
indeed, because I was going to suggest perhaps the solution for that is a bit of Botox, but we'll talk about that one some other time. Karen, let's talk about why some people believe that just using a rich cream can solve all of these problems. As long as I apply a rich cream to my face, I shouldn't worry about dry skin or dehydrated skin.
So we have to be careful of rich skins, because sometimes rich skin actually traps too much water. And that can actually then start to macerate your skin. So you can have breakdown of that top layer of the skin, and it can be injuring. It's also important that we choose the right kind of oils in our products. Now, most cosmetic products will use good quality ingredients that are able to penetrate. And it's about molecular size. So some oils have very big molecules. They lie on the skin, and you feel that your skin feels nice and glowy and dewy, but you still have the tightness. Now, that's a good indication that maybe that oil isn't correct for your skin. So we're going to rather look at things like ceramides. which actually have the ability to penetrate into the skin and to form that lipid bilayer structure with the water trapped in between. There are many plant-based shea butter, for instance. I know people go butter, but shea butter is very compatible with your skin structure.
Okay.
And it's actually not that rich, so it also penetrates well. And there are many other plant-based oils that are actually very good for your skin. But going, for instance, purely, and yes, I do agree, though, that like if you are outdoors and in the wind and you are, then yes, a nice layer of petrolatum gel or Vaseline will do well. To protect you, but it's not feeding your skin. It's not replacing those lipids that you need. So from a protection point of view, for instance, your lip ice, those kind of things are very good, but they're not replenishing. So it's not just about the rich, oily product that you're going to put onto your skin. And then we also look at things like other ingredients that will, in older skin, will add vitamin C and growth factors, and we might even add a retinoid that stimulates the cell to start making what it needs to make to replace the lipid bilayer. So that would be slightly differently focused.
Yeah.
And then what we all like, all cosmetic houses of, and it's an ingredient that's very popular at the moment is hyaluronic acid. Now, I know people go, an acid, what? You're putting an acid on your skin? No. This it's actually a carbohydrate that binds water. Your skin makes it.
Okay.
And what we do is we just supplement that hyaluronic acid so that it traps more water in your skin to plump out those fine lines, to also help with how, it's actually surprising, but it has an effect on how your skin exfoliates. So you'll get rid of that dry skin, and you'll recover the skin structure in that way. So it is about the types of ingredients that we're putting onto our skin that's important.
Hyaluronic acid, yes, supposed to plump up the skin. Some people get it wrong, though. Why do they get it wrong and not get the full benefits of it?
I think there are different types of hyaluronic acid.
Okay.
And there are hyaluronic acids so hyaluronic acid naturally is a very large molecule. So sometimes it lies on top of the skin, and it does very well at trapping, but it doesn't do very well at necessarily plumping, especially if you already have a damaged and aged skin. Also, we need to keep it in. So you need to use hyaluronic acid with a moisturizer over top of it, unless your skin's very oily. So it's about so if we look at the layers of the skin, the bottom layer, the dermis, actually contains a lot of water. And then on top, it's like you've got a sealing layer in the corneum. That's the lipid.
Yeah.
So if you just put hyaluronic acid into this layer, some of it will penetrate, but it will evaporate again if you don't put something to keep it in. So it's about the combination of ingredients that you're going to be using. And that's also why many of your richer products actually do have hyaluronic acid in it.
Oh, amazing. Retinol, is that a better solution perhaps?
Retinol is more about stimulating cell turnover and creating new cells that will then give you a better structure.
Oh.
So retinoids as a first-line treatment for dry skin, we wouldn't go that route.
Okay.
Also, there are forms. So retinol, the ingredient retinol, is quite irritating. Now we use another version of the retinoid called a retinoic acid ester, which gives you the turnover, but it doesn't give you the side effect. But if you would put retinol onto an already dry skin, you probably will dry it out even more. So there's a process that's around your retinoids that you have to be aware of. It's not going to give you the immediate results that a ceramide and a hyaluronic acid would.
And then finally, very quickly, Karen, what is your ideal routine that we need, facial routine that we need to follow to ensure that our skin doesn't dry out and get dehydrated?
So it's always, to me, there are always 3 steps. It's about cleansing, it's about moisturizing, and it's about wearing your sunscreen. Sunscreen is important. Yeah. Not necessarily for dry skin, but we live in a sunny environment. Serums are in addition to that. So we are going to be using a serum that contains hyaluronic acid or has a little bit more ceramides in it. That's additionally. But we can get away with, we can actually treat skin very well if we've got a good cleanser and a good moisturizer. And you need to do that routine twice daily. And also, generally in winter, we'll use a richer moisturizer, especially at night when we don't add more sunscreen when our skin is resting as well. So those would be the three critical elements.
Karen,
and then you can add serums and masks.
I love that. Karen will certainly be on the lookout at Lamelle Research Laboratories and see the amazing work that you're doing there, and also catch some tips on the websites as well. But thank you so much for your time and for giving us those top tips this afternoon.
Stunning. Thanks, Tebogo.
The voice there of Karen Bester from Lamelle Research Laboratories. I hope you now understand the